Hi guys, welcome back to Prepared Code. On this channel, I conduct classes on web development and programming. Um, and if you are visiting my channel for the first time or you have not subscribed to my channel, please help me by hitting the subscription button and turning on the notification bell. So in today's video, I want to show you two ways you can add JavaScript to your HTML. Two ways by which you can add JavaScript to HTML. So the first way I'm going to be showing you is what we call the internal JavaScript. Just call it internal JavaScript because this JavaScript is being added directly to our HTML document. And this JavaScript, the internal JavaScript, is used to script just one HTML document. So what we mean by the HTML document is that this JavaScript can only be used on the elements of this document only. So how do we include the JavaScript? We use a HTML tag, a HTML element called the script. So the script here is used to include JavaScript inside the HTML. So here with this script element, we can start writing a JavaScript code. So let's just write something that let's just write a JavaScript that could pop up something and say now you are okay. Now you are writing JavaScript. Now you are writing JavaScript. Okay, so this is one way to include JavaScript into your HTML. So let's just run this code and so you can see that the JavaScript work. You can see now you are writing JavaScript. This is one way to include JavaScript into our HTML, and this is called the internal JavaScript, used for scripting just one HTML document. And the document you're going to use the internal JavaScript to script must be embedded. The JavaScript must be wrapped inside the script tag, the script element, and it must be placed directly inside that document you want to use it to script. So one other way to include JavaScript in our HTML elements and our HTML document is using what we call the external JavaScript. External JavaScript is a little bit different from the internal JavaScript because we can use the external JavaScript to script more than one web page. Okay, let me show you something. Let's create external JavaScript. When we want to use external JavaScript, you have to create a different file for this JavaScript. Okay, let's create a different file. Let's call this file let me just call it let's call it script.js now. And I will save it in the same place where I saved my js class.html. So in this script, let me just call a last. Let me say let's just say this. Let's say this is the second JavaScript. Okay, you see this one calls this is the second JavaScript. Now how do we include this script.js inside our HTML? So how we do it, you can just come down here down and we'll just link it. We can just link it here. Okay, we'll call the source attribute using the same script element, but now we are going to be linking to that JavaScript, external JavaScript file from the source of the script. So now we'll just call the name of the JavaScript we are linking to, then .js. Now you will realize that when we run this script, when we reload our HTML, this guy will run. Okay, let's see what happens. Now you can see this is the second JavaScript, which is the external JavaScript is now working on this page. So when this one gets the internal JavaScript runs, which is the now you are writing JavaScript. Now let me explain something. Mainly why we use external JavaScript is because we want to use that file to script more than one web page. What do we mean by more than one web page? So let's create another HTML element so that you will understand. Let's say js class 2.html, and let's just copy some code here, paste it here, and let's say let's just remove this guy. Now let's run this particular guy. Let's run this particular guy. You can see this JavaScript 2 is also running the same HTML elements, but this guy has an embedded HTML and embedded JavaScript. This embedded JavaScript can only affect the JS class. It cannot affect the JS class 2 because it is an internal JavaScript and it only scripts one web page, one document, the document that contains the JavaScript. So the external JavaScript just helps us to script more than one page. So any script will write here will affect this document and affect this document. The reason is because these two documents are linked to that particular file. This is just a way to use JavaScript to embed JavaScript in HTML. So that's just a simple way to do it, and there is nothing else. That's it. So I believe at this point you were able to learn 2 ways to include JavaScript in your HTML. So at this point I'll say thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my next video, and don't forget to subscribe if you have not done that. Thanks.